Hello, everyone. Tonight with the Gauntlet, we are playing Monsterhearts 2, which is a follow-on from a game of Alice is Missing we played with the same group last week. My name is Donna. My pronouns are he, him. Last week, I played Charlie Barnes, so I'm the MC this week, because I guess Charlie may have moved back home. So I guess in character keeper order, let's get introductions from all of our players and an introduction to their character. And then after we've done that round, we'll jump into backstory and get some strings.
All right, so I'll begin.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Hi, my name is Mark. I use pronouns he, him. I am playing Evan Holwell from Alice is Missing. Evan was the one with the crush. And Evan in this series of Monsterhearts is the Infernal. The Infernal is someone who is tempted, impulsive, and in over their head. They have a demonic patron, someone who gets them things they want at an unspecified price. The Infernal plays with themes of temptation, addiction, and dependency.
Great stuff. Thanks, Mark. So let's move on to Dakota.
Hi, everyone. My name's Jose, and my pronouns are he, him. I'm playing Dakota Travis, and I'm doing the playbook, The Mortal. Dakota in the Alice is Missing game was Alice's best friend. What shall I say?
Dakota needs a new best friend.
Dakota may need a new best friend because Alice really bit the dust unless she comes back to life in some way, which that's always possible in Monsterhearts. He might need a new best friend. Yeah, and he's just a kid next door. Nothing special about him.
Cool, awesome. And on to Jack, Alice's brother.
Yeah, I'm Steven, he, him, and I'm playing Jack Briarwood. As Donna mentioned, I was Alice's brother in, well, I was Alice's brother because she's dead now, which is, I think I'm probably still sad about. And I think just to add things in, I think probably my dad was in prison for a pretty minor stupid bullshit that he keeps going to prison for. Probably got out over the winter break due to bereavement leave, due to early release for bereavement. And so that will be awkward.
And why don't you tell us what Jack's skin is?
Jack is the werewolf. Jack was raised by wolves, i.e. his dad, kind of, when his dad was there. Yeah, Jack is I don't have the playbook descriptions in front of me, but yeah, I am good at basking in moonlight, and I get XP when I turn into when I turn into my darkest self, i.e. wolf out. We've established that there is like a werewolf pack in town, but I've been trying to keep away from them for a long time now because they're my dad's stupid friends.
Yeah, who wants to hang out with your dad's friends? I mean, come on.
Exactly.
And last but not least, Julia.
My name is Max. I use they, them pronouns, and I am playing Julia North, who uses she, her pronouns. Julia was Alice's secret girlfriend in Alice is Missing. Julia lives in the woods, and as far as anybody knows, Julia has no family. So she's there in the woods, and she's a witch that just awoke as a witch over the course of her childhood. And she is guarded and careful about her connections with people. And but she's also playful and has playful eyes. And what else do I need to say about Julia? Anything?
No, I think that is probably enough to get started with. Thanks, Max.
Okay.
So, yeah, I guess we're going to start off with backstory. So let's go back around to Evan. And this is going to beg a lot of questions, right? So you owe debts. You give away 3 strings divided any way you like between the Dark Power, TBD, and the other characters. So you can like put all these eggs into one basket, one terrible basket called your Dark Power, or you can keep them away from your Dark Power, however you want. So what do you think, Mark?
So if I'm gamifying it, I want to probably give 0 to the Dark Power, which would keep me from getting to my darkest self faster, right?
In theory, yes.
But since I want to get there, so no, I'll give 1 to the Dark Power. And then let's see. Can I do the second part of the backstory? Someone thinks they can save you, gain a string on them. Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
sure.
I'm sorry. No. That's okay. I was thinking that I was giving away a string at that point too. Okay, so I've given away a string to the Dark Power, and I have 2 more strings to give away. And let's see who it's going to be with. And then the reasoning behind it. I'm trying to remember who was being so mean to Evan and making stuff up about them.
That was
during
Jack.
Alice's. I think it was Jack. Yes.
I think you meant telling the truth about Evan.
Okay, it's seen from 2 different positions. So if I give a string to Jack, then we just kind of have to justify it within the fiction, right?
Yeah, so it says you owe debts, right? So the obvious thing is you owe the Dark Power, but then you say you owe Jack for some reason. And this could be, something you think, something they think, something that you're both on the same page on. It really is up to you and Stephen to kind of hash out exactly what this means.
Stephen, does anything come to mind immediately from your perspective? Can it somehow be related to okay, you were raised by wolves. It was your dad's kind of motorcycle gang, right? Is that accurate?
Yeah. I think
Okay.
I think we described them as like a hunting club.
Yeah. So maybe
Yeah.
I mean, I know we described Evan as a biker guy, right? So there could be some connection there that's less about the werewolf aspect of it and more about the biker gang.
Yeah, so maybe Jack has some kind of power in relation to that gang that is, or within that gang that is held over Evan in some way as an outsider biker.
I mean, at least to like my knowledge, they don't eat people, but that doesn't mean they won't pretend that they're going to at times.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if at some point they decided to play with Evan. And Jack had to intervene there.
Yeah, that's excellent. I'm happy with that.
Cool. Okay.
Cool. So Stephen writes down the string that he has over. Okay, very good.
Yeah.
And then I've got one more string. I thought I'd do a side character that's still alive.
And we can create new side characters here. Who'll be in your class, right? We're going to be creating a bunch of ones anyway.
Okay, so let's see. This is this is well, this is someone who suspects something is happening that is. This is the school psychologist, and they have been talking to Evan and doing some therapy, and they get the sense that something is happening. Yeah, exactly. That this person knows that that Evan has been communicating with a special friend that doesn't seem to really exist. Is that reasonable, Donna? Or is that not juicy enough?
That is totally reasonable. I mean, inside my heart, I'm wondering, is the psychiatrist the dark power? But
that's entirely possible. Oh my gosh, yes.
But let's not do that, because that's you giving them like two strings. So,
right.
At least if we do that as a reveal later on, those two pools of strings will be completely separate. It'll be like a two-face thing. Okay. Okay.
Should I go ahead and put some info?
Yeah, you can put in some details on them in the side characters list. I think so any of the side characters we're creating here, we'll be coming back with some extra questions later on, but that's great as a starter. Now we're going to break the order because it says for the mortal to declare their backstory last. Right? So let's jump ahead to Jack. So I guess you can pick one of these, right? The first one is very all-encompassing, right? But
yep, everybody gets a string on me. I'm easy to read. Like I was not subtle, for example, about my distrust of Evan. Everybody basically knows it. I'm pretty lucky that I didn't just like send Evan a message saying don't trust Evan.
And I guess most people must know that Jack is a werewolf.
Yeah, I think like Dakota might just think I have like really good kung fu or something. I don't know.
Rip your throat out, kung fu.
Yeah.
Are there any like things that Jack has done in school, like before all of this happened, that make everyone think that they have his number?
I think like it was a pretty common occurrence back in the day that I think Alice and I had a lot of like blow up shouting matches in public at each other. Like I think that was just like a common occurrence at school. Like about like serious stuff, also about stupid stuff. Like that was just our thing.
Cool. Okay. So the Briarwoods are at it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then lastly, on to Julia. So again, you've got a choice here. You can go with the generic sympathetic tokens one, or you can go with the juicy social one, depending on which one you want to go with first. Oh, you're muted, Max.
I like the idea of getting a little more juicy. And so what does that mean?
So that means, so the second one is one of the others caught you rummaging through their fence stuff, but hasn't said anything. They get a string on you. So
I
who's
see.
caught you snooping?
I think it has to be Dakota. I don't know why exactly.
I'm so inoffensive and easy to not notice.
I
I'm
mean,
just the
was
kid
it
next
was it a
door.
thing that you kind of, for her protection, gathered some sympathetic tokens on Alice in case you needed them?
Yes. And yes, and I had to get them from Dakota or Jack.
I thought it was through your friend's stuff. Did I mishear that?
Yeah, so it's
Through-
so like Dakota caught you rummaging through one of their friends' things. So I mean, it could have been
I was
Alice.
rummaging
Yeah.
through Alice's. Julie was rummaging through Alice's stuff. And
Yeah.
Dakota saw.
Mhm.
Okay. Yes, definitely.
And what is that object? And do you still like carry it around with you? How would seem like a pretty significant memento to me.
Yeah, I think it's Alice's lighter, cigarette lighter that's like engraved. It was very
And you
important to
wonder
her.
why Jack and Alice had shouting matches at school.
Okay, so Dakota gets a string on you for that. Okay, awesome. And when was that? Was that like, in last term, in the last semester before the Christmas break, or further back?
I think it was last term because I think Dakota and Alice didn't get cozy with each other until Charlie left town, right?
Yeah, okay.
So it had to be within the last semester.
Sure, yeah, okay.
And now Charlie's mysteriously disappeared again, and nobody can compete with Dakota for best friend.
I reign supreme.
Okay, so let's go back around to Evan. Someone thinks they can save you. Gain a string on them.
Yeah. I don't know if any of my social group here care to save him.
Any volunteers?
Certainly not Jack.
Yeah, I already have a string on you, but I'm fine like having, I guess, more ties, but I feel like it's better to give them or spread them around a little bit.
I could I've got wholesome wholesome intentions. That's the word I'm looking for. So I could be the one who wants to save you.
Okay.
I just want everyone to be happy.
And what is saving someone if not being their best friend?
Now there's some campaigning going on.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
I see. Nobody wants the Queen of Spades. I can see.
You're my best friend because I can save you.
I mean, or is this like if you become my best friend, that will be the saving of you? Much more
Exactly.
egocentric.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I could save you by hexing you.
Yeah, I mean, so does that give Dakota? That gives Dakota one, right?
yeah, that gives Dakota one. But
One
I want to
string.
know from Dakota, like, what does that mean? What do you think they need to be saved from?
Well, I think Dakota is aware of this hate campaign that is against Evan, and he thinks it's kind of unwarranted. And so he knows, that folks are talking bad about him. The history teacher hates him too, right? So everyone's hating on him, and so Dakota wants to kind of take him under his wing.
Okay.
Thank you.
So now we
You
come
might
to
not thank me later.
Jack's second one. You spent weeks watching someone from a distance. Their scent and mannerisms are unmistakable to you now. Gain 2 strings on them. It's the creep section of the night.
Yeah, I think proceeding off of what we were saying last time, I think I've just been really curious about, like, I mean, I know Jack knows some of the stuff that Alice and Max are getting up to and doesn't want to know about that stuff, but like the magic stuff Jack has been curious about and has been scenting the woods a little bit recently. For Julia. If that works for you.
I'm sorry, can you say it one more time?
I think I've been kind of, yeah, I've kind of been like curious about this magic stuff that you've been getting up to in the woods, particularly since we determined that it's not just that you're a cool person, it's also that you're a witch, which was, I think, my phrasing of it that time. Like, I think that I have been sort of, I guess, scenting out your special places in the woods and trying to figure out what is up there.
Yeah.
Particularly because I still think CJ is up to something and probably working with Evan to hurt you somehow.
Yeah, I like that. That works.
Okay, cool. And then the second one for Julia is that you start with 2 sympathetic tokens from any characters. So who do you think that is going to be?
I think I might have one on Jack. You know, Jack and I were kind of starting to communicate with each other a little more sympathetically in the last session. And, but it has to be a physical item, right?
Yeah,
I just like to imagine that Alice had borrowed one of, again, another reason we had a big shouting match in school was that Alice had borrowed one of my jackets without asking me and then just left it at your place.
Which is precisely how I knew that you were a werewolf. You were like, you were like confessing to me. I was like, dude, I already know that.
Yeah, all the dog hair on the jacket. I know.
Right. Okay, so I have a string on Jack.
Yeah, so it's important that you note down that this is a sympathetic token.
Okay, but
so
I
this is
same column.
Yeah, you can put it in the same one, but just like put a note after it that it's a sympathetic token, because I guess the primary use of those is to use for your magic, but you can also use them as a string, right?
Okay.
Cool. And the second one, who do you have in mind?
I think I have one on Dakota. You know, it'd be pretty easy for me to have gotten something from Dakota, given our mutual closeness to Alice. And I think what it is a page from your journal, Dakota.
You ripped it out? God.
I did. I ripped out a page of your journal. Yeah, where you were saying some things about Alice.
Doodling your like theoretical best friend pairing names in the corners.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. Take a string on me.
Yeah.
Or well, a sympathetic token, even worse.
And Max, just a note that you should also have a string on Jack, a separate string on Jack, because
Okay.
he lacks subtlety.
Right.
Cool. Okay, so finally to the main event. Dakota. And this is going to be a discussion, right? It doesn't need to be.
This is going to have to be a discussion,
It's just going to be
Dakota's. No one should
fiat.
get the Queen of Spades if they really aren't ready for it. Yeah, what makes sense to me, I mean, the simplest one that makes sense is Jack, just because something about the way we ended the session last time. Well, a couple of things is the friendship that they had, the bestie friendship that they had before that somehow fell away. Could have been something about Dakota really falling for Jack and Jack.
I mean, Alice was the cooler person, I'm fairly certain.
Alice was the cooler
That's
person? Okay. Was Alice a wolf too? Did we establish that or not?
I don't know. It was left like unstated.
Unstated,
I think that Charlie assumed that she was a wolf, and she was definitely like reaching out to my dad's pack. So I don't know. Maybe she was.
Oh, we don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the kind of way that we had that conversation, Stephen, was that, you know, how could you have not known that we were wolves? I think was the way I took it. So
okay, sure.
But again, it's
it was more no, clearly vampires don't exist. We're werewolves.
I remember that. So there's Jack as a possibility, and that, you know, that Dakota comes in the final scene and sees Jack having killed Bria, is that her name? And wants to protect him from the repercussions of that. So there's that possibility. But then there's also the Evan possibility, which is, you know, the bad boy that has a bad rep and everyone's out to get. Dakota could definitely go in that direction. And I'm not sure about Julia, because Julia was in a relationship with Alice already.
And if we just follow the distributive property of best friendship, clearly the best friend status transfers to Julia.
To Julia, okay. Oh, because it went from best friend from Jack to Alice to Julia. So I have some flexibility, but what are you all thinking? Because it is a heavy burden. A heavy burden.
What do you think, Mark?
I'd be fine with it if you wanted to give it to me, but it's up to you.
I'm fine with it too. Yeah, that'd be cool. Whatever seems to work.
I don't understand the burden, so I'm great with it.
Yeah.
You would be perfectly naive. You are going to be loved, Max. Let me just see. Looks like everyone's pretty much open.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say that the one thing that you will have to be if you are Dakota's lover is mean or problematic, because that'll give him XP, and that's what we're all after, right? Having Dakota turn himself into knots, excusing your bad behavior.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm drawn to the werewolf. Well, and a werewolf and an infernal can both be really, really bad. So they're both kind of volatile. Whereas Julia's going to be a more slow burn character. So it'll take a while for her to get really bad. I'll go with Jack. Werewolves are volatile. They're going to do bad shit. He's already done some bad shit that will need excusing. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Jack.
So Jack gets 3 strings on you, and you get 1 string on him. Okay. So I think that's a good place to take our first break. I have 8 minutes past, so say quarter past, or do people want a few more minutes?
Sure, that works for me.
That's fine.
Okay, see you back then. Okay, so we've had our first break. I think a good start to ask questions would be, or Infernal's Dark Power. I guess, when did Evan first encounter the Dark Power, and like what have you kind of discovered about them as yet?
Yeah, so I had some different thoughts about the Dark Power. How much time do we have an amount of time that's elapsed between?
So I think it is probably January, so it's like after the holiday break, maybe a couple of weeks, maybe longer if we want to push towards spring, but not too long.
Okay.
So I guess it'll be up to you if this has happened since, or whether it was always the case,
Right.
Before last week's game.
I think this is something that happened recently. I've been toying around with some different ideas. One of them is that so Bria, we don't really have we ever established why Bria killed Alice? We don't know.
I never said in the fiction, I'd assumed it was some dark ritual because we had established that Alice was like sharing the secret image, like the places, this Julia's secret places in the woods with CJ for unknown reasons.
Right. So I had a thought that maybe the Dark Power is Bria, and that Bria is cohabitating Evan's
or something Bria was working for.
Or something that Bria is, because maybe Bria was more than what she was, without going like Twin Peaks.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Kind of a Bob situation. Or I could go some other direction if that feels like that's not going to work well.
No, that sounds cool to me.
Okay.
And I mean, maybe it may be interesting to see this in play, but like, how does we'll call it Bria, right?
Sure.
Yeah. How does Bria contact you? How does Bria's voice contact you?
I think that my first thought is that Bria is always there. Bria is just writing inside Evan's consciousness. And if not, then it is through whispers that only Evan hears that she contacts him.
Okay, cool. And what was your relationship with Bria like before? Like, how awkward or familiar does this voice seem to you?
It's very familiar. I think that Bria and Evan had certainly hooked up in the past on some number of occasions. So they knew each other intimately. I know that when we were playing Alice is Missing, somebody brought up the question. I think that Julia brought up the question about how well they knew each other, just as an aside. But maybe there's something else that's just not revealed yet that's in their past.
Cool. Stay tuned, kids. Okay, awesome. So I guess a big part of normal Monsterhearts play is the classroom, which is like a really good place to get a dynamic going. Stephen, for Jack, I know we had established he was a senior and the others were juniors. Do you think there's a class we could share together? Is there like a...
I mean, if we're a small enough town, it's possible that a few of the years share a homeroom.
Yeah, cool. Ouch. Okay, cool. So let's start with. Do we think this is history class? Is like your homeroom teacher, Mr. Halvert, just to add extra gumption to it? Okay, cool. So let's start with Evan, given that you know we've already gone there. Where are you sitting in class? So there's a classroom tab in the character keeper, so you can pick whatever seat you want. Let's do the 4x4 and ignore the fifth row or the fifth column on the outside, just to keep numbers small and manageable.
Well, I was originally going for that rightmost column, but no.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that Evan's the kind of kid who he's all the way in the back and definitely as far away from Mr. Halvert as possible.
Yeah. And we're just gonna cut around in pretty sharp order. Dakota, who sits in front of Evan? And I guess, the most basic question, what is their deal?
Who sits in front of Evan and what is their deal? Oh, we do already have some NPCs. Let me just take a
Yeah, we have a bunch of NPCs and the side characters, but if you want to invent...
But I can make one new, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. Sorry, I have to get back. It's a big kid that Evan kind of likes to sit behind because he's shielded from Mr. Halbert's eyes. So maybe he is... what did we say? Oh, maybe it's Ryan Groggins. So he's the basketball jock. And so maybe he sits in front of Evan.
Yeah, okay.
I can put him in.
Yeah, put him in there in the seat in front of Evan. And I guess we already know what...
You already know something about him, right? He's kind of a dickhead.
He is.
Or he was a dickhead to Alice anyways.
That's all that counts.
And we don't know exactly why Alice dumped him. Because he's a really popular kid. So maybe no, I won't establish that, but I'll just note that we don't know why Alice dumped him.
Well, like
there might be some secret.
I think we're going to get you to establish that right now, Jose.
Okay. All right.
So
let's see. Alice dumped him because she found out that she found out that he was juicing, that he was using steroids to improve his performance on the basketball court. And she decided not to reveal that to anybody, but she did decide to break off with him because of it.
Okay. And what does everyone else think happened?
What does everybody else think happened?
What's the agreed upon lie? Or
the agreed upon lie? So what did Alice say when people would ask her?
Yeah.
I don't know who knows the truth, but when Alice would be asked, she would be vague and say irreconcilable differences, or, we just didn't match up well, but I really like him, because Alice was trying to like smooth everything over all the time.
Yeah, I feel like that's exactly why everybody thinks that he dumped her, because she's so it was irreconcilable differences, what you say when you get dumped by someone.
Exactly.
Well, and that was when Alice went running into the woods. Like that, she couldn't confide in anyone, so she went running into the woods in tears, like unable to figure out like how to hold this secret in herself. And that is when she encountered Julia.
Okay, cool. So yeah, there's going to be a few empty seats in this classroom. I guess 2 of which will have belonged to Bria and Alice. But I want to have another empty seat in front of Ryan for someone who's just not in class today. Jack, who is this, and why are they missing today?
Let me do actually, no, we do have some NPCs. Right.
So, I mean, really, we only have David left in the school-going of-age population.
Right.
Because CJ is a dropout, and Charlie doesn't live here anymore.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'll come up with a, let's see, random name generator. Yeah, I guess let's go with Zoe and So Jack knows why she's not here, or
yeah, I think so. I think you know why she's not around. I mean, if you want to not know,
I think she cuts class to head out into the city to see like real bands.
cool. Okay, and Julia. Why don't you put yourself on the seating chart somewhere, and then I'll ask you a question about someone who sits in front of you or behind you, whatever makes the most geographical sense.
I'm also a back row person.
In the other back corner, right? Solidarity. Yeah. So yeah, the person who sits in front of you has like changed drastically or dramatically. Both of those things.
That's our neologism for this, dramatically.
Has changed tremendously since the holidays, since they've returned from the holidays. Why don't you give them a name and then tell us how they've changed?
Okay, let's see. I think the person in front of me is named Portia. I'll write it in there. And Portia has changed dramatically over the holidays because she started doing hormone replacement therapy and is transitioning to taking estrogen.
And is that something that kind of you know about on the QT, or like is she how?
I think that the dramatic change is that now it's obvious, right? Everyone
Yeah.
can tell now after the holiday period. It's not subtle anymore.
Okay. Okay, awesome. And is she a friend of yours, or do you confide in each other, this kind of stuff? So you might have known that this was going to happen,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And let's keep this all rolling. Who we got? Who don't we have seated? I guess we have to seat Dakota. So, do you want to put yourself down there somewhere in the seating plan?
Did you say me?
Yeah, for
Okay.
Dakota.
Let's put Dakota somewhere in the middle of everything.
What? Dakota's not a front row kid?
He wants to be surrounded.
Being a front row kid draws attention to yourself, which we've seen is the opposite of Dakota's ethos.
Wow. And I mean, who is that front row kid in front of Dakota then?
The front row kid in front of Dakota is Homer. And Homer is kind of an anxious whiz kid, straight A student, trying to get into good schools, but very anxious about the whole thing. So he sweats a lot and never misses a class. That kind of brainiac.
Okay. And who does Homer have a crush on?
Homer has a crush on how about Julia?
Okay.
Although he's never spoken to her, and they sit on opposite sides of the classroom. Because he gets, every time he tries to approach Julia, he gets super anxious and can't actually speak to her.
So can Julia have a string on Homer?
I think that's inevitable. Yeah. I mean, it answers my next question. Has Julie even noticed this guy?
That's a question for Julia, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, Julia is quite psychic, so I think it would be hard to escape the notice. Someone had a crush on her.
How does she feel about Homer?
I mean, have you said something to Homer that has made him extra cautious? Something that, you couldn't possibly have known?
I think that I actually accidentally bumped into Homer in the hallway, and Homer's reaction was so, like, Homer was sweating profusely, Homer was stammering, and it just became clear, wow, this kid's got something going on. So yeah, no real words were exchanged. Just maybe I said, I'm sorry. Excuse excuse me.
I'm sure that's a bigger deal than anticipated in Homer's mind. Okay, cool. Jack, why don't we sit you down somewhere in this classroom before you're left with no
Okay.
choice?
Let's see here. Oh. Let's see.
I made it hard to not sit near me, Jack.
I mean,
Perfect plan, huh?
yeah. I think I'm probably seated actually to like the left of Homer. I think there was exactly the Alice buffer right there in the empty seat between us. Like that was always the case. Like that Alice intersection between Zoe, Dakota, and me.
Okay, cool.
Oh, I'm bolded for some reason. I'll unbold Jack.
I mean, maybe that's Dakota's secret work, making sure that you're extra bold. Okay, I'll put in the empty space for Alice just as a placeholder. Okay, cool. And I guess who is to the left of you, or yeah, who's to the left of you, Jack?
Hmm. Uh, let's say Megan, Zoe's ex-girlfriend, who they got the seat together at the start of the semester, and Mr. Halbert does not allow students to change seats during the year. And they broke up about like a month into the year.
Another reason why Zoe's not there.
Yeah.
And Evan, why? Yeah, what's your relationship like with Megan? Mark, sorry, you were.
That's okay.
Yeah.
We're having some school concerns there for a second.
No,
strangely enough, for my son, so it kind of threw me off. I'm sorry. What is
sorry. So
Megan's
Megan
relationship with Megan?
Yeah.
Who have we established Megan is?
She is Zoe's ex. And Zoe is the girl who is missing today, who is cutting class to go to gigs in the city.
Right.
Without Megan, obviously.
Right, without Megan. Do we know anything else about Megan? Except
Nope.
that she's her
Nope.
ex? Okay.
Yeah.
So Megan is a Megan has helped to tutor Evan. Megan actually she's the breezy genius as opposed to the sweaty genius. And she's also a huge fan of the band Tool. So every day she's got a different Tool shirt that she wears to school, along with her flannels. And she has helped to tutor Evan because Evan has a hard time with school.
So who is in Camp Zoe then? I presume that there have been, there's been a DMZ constructed between these two friend groups. So is there someone who has who you used to be friendly with, who you are not allowed to be friendly with anymore?
Someone other than Zoe?
Someone other than Zoe, yeah.
Let's see, who else was Zoe friends with? Zoe, what was Zoe's background?
I guess that
She was the concert kid.
Concert kid, yeah.
Yeah. Can we create a new NPC here?
We can totally create a new NPC.
This is going to be Kayla Brandon. Kayla Kayla was Kayla used to ride dirt bikes a lot with Evan in middle school, and they remained friends. However, Kayla and Zoe have since hooked up after Zoe broke up with Megan. Does that fit within what we established?
Sounds good to me.
And so Kayla, former friend of Evan, is off limits now.
Okay.
But you sit next to her, that's gonna be hard.
Yeah,
it's
uncomfortable.
For bonus points on Evan's exclusion, do you want to put Bria's old seat in between Kayla and Alice?
That's a great idea. Oh, okay. Can you imagine having Bria behind Alice? That's horrible.
Yeah.
Oops, I started typing in there. Sorry, Donna. I'm out
Okay,
now.
no worries.
Thanks.
I mean, are we just gonna slowly see all the people seated around Dakota slowly murdered off, killed off?
I think that's the plan,
Be careful, Jack.
I mean, I guess my next question is completely based on that. Dakota, who sits, I guess, directly behind you?
Her name is Maria. And she is a new kid. So she actually just joined mid-year. None of us actually know her. She's kind of mysterious. So she just joined halfway through the year. She just moved to town. So I don't know who was sitting there in the previous semester, but she's there now.
So
they're old news now, right? So
they're old news now. They clearly died because they sit near Dakota.
Fresh meat for the Dakota meat grinder.
The meat grinder that is Dakota's aura.
Oh my god. And do we think Maria is like a forthcoming person or like a secretive person or what? Like, how easy has it been to get to know them in the last month?
So Maria is actually super extroverted and super kind of almost shiny and flamboyant, and she's actually making friends hand over foot, even though she's only just arrived.
Okay.
Hand or foot? Is that what it is? Hand or a hand? I don't know. My idioms are totally messed up at this point in my life. But she's making a lot of friends.
Okay.
Dramatic.
And sorry, Max.
Dramatically.
Dramatically, yeah, that's our new word for the year. And yeah, I'm wondering what Maria has told Dakota of what she really thinks of, let's say, Julia.
What she really thinks of Julia?
Yeah.
I think Maria, Julia is just like a cipher to Maria. Maria's like, what is going on? Who she hasn't been. Maria's tried to charm Julia with her usual charms, and Julia has been absolutely immune to Maria's charms and barely speaks a word to her. And so I think Maria is put off by Julia and doesn't understand why she can't charm her.
Her social charms are no match for actual charms.
Exactly.
And Jack, I guess. How many spaces do we have left in this classroom? We've got 3 left. I feel like we might need to leave some free for the moment. So I'm going to go into the power question round. Who is Jack sitting in between Megan and Homer? Yeah, let's ask a question about. Oh no, let's ask a question about one of the empty seats. One of the remaining people in the class, I think they have like a scent that you cannot ignore, like something that sharply cuts through Homer's constant sweat. What do they smell like, and how do they make you feel?
Sorry, who did you direct the question?
Oh, this is for Stephen.
Yeah. And is there a particular seat you asked me to mark?
No,
or...
you can pick out any of those empty seats.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, let me go over here. Yeah, I think that it is bay, like the body of water. And I think that from like Jack's perspective, they smell cold, like a kind of almost mint like sharpness with a after hint of salt. And I think it's like really intrigued and disturbed Jack at the same time, which is kind of compounded by the fact that anytime Bay smiles at Jack, Jack has to like look away and blush. But yeah.
Okay, cool. And is this the closest you come in your school day, or is there any kind of opportunity for any real contact?
Um I'm just thinking here. Like let's just say fuck it and just put both of us on that basketball team with what's his face.
Okay, with Ryan.
Yeah, that will also make things super more awkward as well.
Yeah, for sure. Perfect.
Oh yeah, we still have that one other student if they're in our homeroom. I don't know.
Yeah, we have David, who is the popular kid who made a pass at Alice but got nowhere.
Yeah, let's put him next to Julia, just so that we can get some revenge in there.
That's fair. That's fair. So we have one last seat, which I guess I'm going to go back to. Well, I guess I'll leave these questions open-ended, so you can introduce that final NPC if you want, or you can apply it to someone else. Julia, who in the class has shrugged off one of your magical hexes without a care in the world? Oh, you're muted, Max.
Sorry, I keep doing that. I think it's David, actually. And David's got some power that we don't quite understand. And I attempted to hex David in retaliation for being shitty to Alice. And I did not see the effects of my hex. So I'm a little confused.
Yeah.
That is confused.
Which one of your hexes did you apply to him?
It was the one about lying. What's it called?
Ring of Lies, yeah.
Ring of Lies. Yeah.
And what I guess when you did that, what was something that you were sure was a lie, but which didn't have the desired effect?
Somebody, was it Dakota? Who was it that was confronting David about having made a pass at Alice, or made what was it he did? Do we remember?
Yeah, I think he was trying to get her to go home with him or whatever, but he got the cold shoulder. Yeah.
Right. So somebody confronted him. Was it you, Dakota? Yeah. So Dakota confronted David, and David disclaimed any knowledge of this event, just totally denied having done that. And I cast the hex and nothing happened, right? He should have had ringing in his ears. He should have had a lot of suffering at lying, and I didn't witness any suffering in him, because I also was casting my hex of, when I hexed him, I was seeing through his eyes. So I could feel what was going on with him, and he was not experiencing the effects that he should have had from lying.
Okay, awesome. And then I think, Evan, one more question for you. Will we call the dark power, or will we just shorthand that to Bria? What's
Bria.
less confusing for you, Mark?
Yeah, I think let's call it Bria.
Okay, so who in the class
Let's call it Bria.
is Bria really interested in? Like who do they want you to kind of deliver or make their life miserable or whatever it is?
Yeah, that's so juicy. My gosh. So I'm not going to give it to a PC. I'm going to give it to I think Maria. I think because Maria is like a shiny new object.
Yeah.
And an unknown quantity in many regards. So it doesn't make sense to me, but Bria wants Maria, and yes, those rhyme.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Has Bria let anything slip about what's really interesting about Maria, or
what did you establish about Maria, Jose?
See,
she's
new kid, shiny, extroverted, really popular already, but finds Julia a cipher and immune to her charms.
Interesting. So I think that Bria has indicated that Maria is like almost supernaturally gifted at being glamorous and charming people. And I think that Bria wants either to bring her down from that, or to like absorb that power or something that Bria is not really letting on.
Evil plan.
There's some evil plan.
Okay, cool. I think we got one last question for our mortal friend. Who's being, I don't know whether to say like making eyes at or trying to edge in on your best friend / true love?
Let's see. What we got here? So we're going to leave one open, right?
We can fill that last one in if we want, or you can assign it to someone who's already on the board.
I'm going to. I mean, we just did something about Maria, but is that wrong to give it to Maria as well? Will that be too much on one NPC?
I don't know. You can do what feels most right to you.
Yeah, I'm drawn to it because she's very she's like a social climber, and she's got her eye on Jack as kind of a well-liked kid that she wants to put in her corner.
And I assume you're not going to take any of that shit, right? What are you going to do about this?
This is all new. It just happened recently, and I can feel her eyes behind across my shoulders, looking at Jack.
Yeah. Like whenever you look behind you, she is looking past your shoulder at Jack. It's just
yeah. I think Dakota's first strategy is to distract her with somebody else, he's trying to convince her that because he thinks she's a social climber. He actually doesn't know why she's cluing in on Jack, and he's trying to convince her that Ryan or David would be better suited, knowing damn well that David is an asshole and Ryan too. So he's trying to wingman them, talk them up to her.
Okay. I mean, that sounds like a great inciting incident to me. So, anyone want to add anything more before we take a break? Anyone want to fill in that last final slot?
I think I'm good.
Should we do something that like the child of the owners of the dripping dagger, or should we tie in some location in some way that's interesting, or should we just see where things go?
I mean, the dripping dagger is kind of rife with everything already. Is there, I mean, the old barn, right, is a really pivotal location. Like,
Yeah.
what is there, like a local rich family who own all that land?
Should we leave it open? Should we jump on that? Thoughts?
We don't really have a popular girl or a rich girl, and that might fit the.
I mean, what is the reason for Maria's family moving to town, other than the fact that her father is like the new manager for the local factory? You know, he's the boss of everyone's parents.
That's nice. Yeah.
Lots of reasons to hate Maria and to try to suck up to her at the same time.
Another reason, says Dakota.
Another reason to hate her.
Okay, let's leave it for now. Yeah. So yeah, let's take another.
Do you want us to fill in notes on the NPC thing, or will you just take care of that, or photos and stuff? Or
yeah, it looks like some people have been filling in some photos already, so feel free. Otherwise, I will kind of do it in downtime.
Okay.
And I'll fill in notes. But if there's anything you want to add, feel free. Okay, so I've got 3 minutes past. So we say 10 past. Return.
Okay.
So I think I've got one more question to ask before we get actually going. Who do you think would have seen Charlie off, as she went home to her mom for the new semester? Anyone, or what do you think?
Yes, Dakota, who is suspiciously the only person to see Charlie leave.
Feels like a Dakota situation.
I mean, these words, now that I'm about to utter them, sound almost too final, but what were her last words to you before she got before you put her on a bus, if we can use that euphemism?
Yeah, because Julia had been trying to convince me to make up with or to put to bury the hatchet. That's the right thing. Yeah. To bury the hatchet with Charlie. And so where I buried
with her in
her head in the woods, right?
Sure. And so, I mean, I think after Alice's death, I think maybe I assume there was a service. I assume there was an opportunity for Dakota to try to be nice to Charlie, but knowing that Charlie was moving away, which was nice. Although the rivalry is kind of gone since Alice is gone, but it's good that Charlie's moving away. But maybe he did offer her. No, Dakota doesn't have a car though, so he can't offer her a ride to the bus.
No, didn't you were driving around in
Oh, I was
the-
driving around. You're
yeah.
right. You're right. So maybe I offered her a ride to the train station. So yeah. And I saw her off onto the train with a quiet.
Well, I mean, you were driving around. It doesn't mean you had a license, I guess.
I don't know. Yeah. I think I have a license.
Cool. Okay.
A beater.
So-
I got a little beater car.
So yeah, I think you probably have an actual history class with Mr. Halvert last thing on Thursday evening, and you know there's a few moments to before he arrives, and I think Maria, resplendent in whatever outfit she has today, has parked herself on the edge of Jack's desk. Hi, Jack. You know, my parents have a really important social event this weekend, and I was wondering, I'm going to be hosting a party just for us. I mean, not just for you and me, but you know. And I'm wondering if you'd like to be invited.
Yeah, I think because I think like the yeah, I think that like the first thing Jack does is kind of try to sit in his seat, like almost as if she was not sitting on the desk while he's doing that. And I guess I could do that.
I mean, sure. Let's play coy, Jack. I like that. Let's play coy.
And so Dakota comes up because he's keeping an eagle eye on Maria. He comes up behind Jack and puts his hands on Jack's shoulder and said, "Hey, what are you guys talking about?"
Oh, we were just talking about a party that Maria's throwing. Are you going, Dakota?
Yeah, sounds like fun to me. Gosh, Maria, you're so nice to land in town so quickly and be throwing a party. That's awesome. Can we invite other people?
Well, you know, I think it's got to be relatively small. So, yeah, let me handle the invites. But of course, you're invited, Dakota. I mean, you would have been next. You were the next desk on my way to mine. So, I would definitely have been inviting you next.
Of course. That
Of course.
sounds great.
Yeah, I mean, are you just trying to be nice, or are you trying to like shut her down, or are you gonna like wait till she leaves and then like convince Jack not to go? What's your
No, I'm just trying to make nice, so I'm not trying to shut her down just yet. So Dakota's a little bit less direct than that. But he definitely wants to be in on the gig if it happens. Yeah, this is before class, right? Has started. We're kind of
Yeah, so there'll be a couple of minutes of time, which will extend for exactly how long we need to, right?
Yeah. Oh, maybe I say, hey, I think Ryan might be a cool person to invite to your party. You know him? He's the basketball player.
Oh yeah, but I mean, he's so tall. I mean, like, I would need some kind of oxygen apparatus to get up there to talk to him.
You might be right. You don't like to climb, do you?
No.
I saw Jack's mouth open briefly.
Yeah, I think that like that. I think that Jack is just, this is going a little bit over Jack's head. I think that Jack just doesn't understand that people might find him attractive as like a friend or otherwise. But I think when you bring up Ryan, he does say, Ryan, really? You want to hang out with Ryan?
No, I just thought he and Maria might get along. Something, it's just an intuition, right?
I think that's like, is Maria still here when Dakota says that?
I got the impression that Dakota was like targeting all of this Ryan material at her. But
okay, I'm just wondering, like, when like, because does Dakota say that she can hear it? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
So I think Maria like turns to kind of look at Ryan, who is like, I don't know, I got the impression that it's like a normal, like single, foldable desk. So I think he kind of doesn't quite fit in there. Like he looks really awkward here.
Too big.
Whereas maybe he is very graceful on the basketball court. And like she puts a hand on Jack's forearm and she kind of like snorts very gracefully and says, I just don't see it, really, Dakota. But like if he's your type, you should totally go for that. I mean, do you want me to invite him for you? Because I will do that for you.
That's okay, Maria. I just thought maybe he would be your style. You should watch him on the basketball court, though. You haven't seen a game yet.
Okay, so I think off she prowls.
Prowls. And Dakota just leans into Jack and says, "Sorry about that. I didn't really want to." How are you going to
tell me you had a crush on Ryan, Dakota?
I do not have a crush on Ryan. Please.
But then why do you want to hang out with him then?
I don't want to hang out with him. I just wanted to. I just thought he'd be a good match for Maria. They both seem, I don't know, predatory.
Dakota says to the werewolf, of course.
I mean, I just thought she was being nice, Dakota. Why exactly do you have to be so weird with everyone?
I am not weird, okay? I'm just looking out for you. You're kind of clueless sometimes, Jack. You need someone to look out for you. I think she was scamming on you.
I think I can look out for myself fine, Dakota. I don't know where this is coming from. You saw how I was able to handle myself, and I think that I can do that just fine without you, I don't know, mother henning me.
Okay. This is me backing off.
I think I'm shutting you down, though.
Okay.
Like, I think that that was a little bit too much for Jack.
Okay.
And like you said, you do need to get some XP.
So what exactly are you saying to shut down Dakota's
Like, this
worst?
was my
The
that
mother
like that
hen.
whole thing that I was going into. Like, I don't need you looking out for me, and kind of referencing the fact that time I showed up completely bloody and with like a mix of my blood and other people's blood.
Okay, cool. I was just wondering if there was something really problematic you wanted to throw into the mix there. But, maybe turning up with blood, some of it your own, some of it other people's, is a blatant issue that needs to be
Yeah.
addressed, or should in a healthy relationship be addressed. Cool. So why don't you roll 2d6 and add your code to shut down. I put the link to the dice room in the
Oh
chat
wow,
there.
that's a 9. Had a -1.
Okay.
Nice roll.
And just in case you're used to Powered by the Apocalypse games having helping mechanics, this is a game about the messy lives of teenage monsters. There's no helping.
Yeah.
So when you shut someone down, on a 7 to 9, you choose one from the list below. Do you have the player sheets? I included those in the email, but if you want me to, I can paste in the options
Let me
into the
just
chat.
open that. I don't have them
Okay.
open here. Here we go. Yeah, I think that they lose a string on me. I think that's fictionally what makes sense here.
Okay.
But I think on a 7 to 9,
I'll give you a condition.
yeah.
You come across poorly, and then Dakota will inflict or give you a condition in return.
Yeah, I think is this whole thing, like, I think that Jack is like whispering, but it's like very loud whispering. I think everybody everybody in the class hears it.
And when he says it, Dakota's face just falls and he looks so hurt. And he walks back to his desk quietly, and everyone thinks that Jack is what's the right word for the condition? I guess just mean, but
Puppy kicker or
or
I mean, mean boy.
Mean boy or heartbreaker or something like that.
Sure, I'll put down heartbreaker. We'll
You like that one?
I was about to say
Okay.
heartbreaker seems like wishful thinking from Dakota.
I know. I mean, it's what Dakota is giving me.
Yeah. So here's a mechanical kind of piece on the rules, is that if you are making a move against another character and they have a condition that you can kind of hook onto, you get a +1 bonus to your roll. So that's something to bear in mind if you want some extra knives in your words. Okay, cool.
I think I want to make it different than heartbreaker. Just seems like a compliment. So I'd like it to be either mean or hard-hearted or something like that.
Like
Sure, what do you want to
heartless,
go with?
or
What was it that you said, Donna?
like heartless? Is that
heartless? Oh, I like heartless. Oh, heartless. Yes, I want my lover to be heartless.
okay? So, Julia, what have you been up to as all of this dramatics kind of unfurls in front of you? Are you paying attention, or is this kind of outside of your
Oh yes,
interest?
Julia is paying a lot of attention to this. Julia feels a sense of protectiveness toward Jack. actually, since they connected a bit after Alice went missing. Yeah, Julia gained a little bit of a sympathetic feeling toward Jack. And so she's watching that bitch Maria, like who is this bitch and why is she making moves on Jack? And you know, I was so close to hexing her as she was being assailed by everybody about this party, right? I was like, oh, she is totally lying. And so I really wanted to watch that unfold, but it just kind of, it moved on a little too quickly. So I didn't have a chance to do the hex.
Well, I think Maria kind of sees you looking, and I mean, you kind of know that like she breaks her stride a little bit, but she's very good at disguising it. And so she makes it seem like she was always going to come down to you and Portia. Hey girls, I'm just throwing out a few invites for a little, party I'm hosting. So I don't know, maybe you have other things on, but I would like to extend our welcome.
I'm hexing you right now.
So,
Okay.
So I think without sympathetic tokens, it's like really
You have to
loud
make your
and
eyes
obvious,
go red.
right?
yeah. So,
Okay.
so if you don't have a sympathetic token for someone, it says that to cast them, you meet the target's gaze and chant at them in tongue. So yeah, it's really obvious that you're doing magic on them. But I think it's a good lesson to learn for a witch to say, I'm going to bide my time. I'm going to get my sympathetic token, and then I'm going to like stick it to this mean girl later on, right? So, I mean, being invited to our house is a great opportunity to get a sympathetic token, right?
It's true, or I could just pickpocket her right now.
You could, yeah.
Right over to my desk, and she's got her purse hanging on her, and I see a pen sticking out of it, and so I just grabbed that pen and put it in my pocket, and now I do have a sympathetic token.
So, I mean, like, she's kind of talking to you, and maybe she like you reach across, and I think you need to keep your cool. Like, this is, if someone else sees you do this, even if it's not Maria, it might be bad for your reputation. So, or whatever you're afraid of, right? So, when you keep your cool and act despite fear, name what you're afraid of and roll with cold. So I'm not sure, Max, have you used this dice room before?
No.
Okay. So to roll a few dice, you need to roll the d6s. So the top d6 with the pips on it, if you click that twice.
Okay.
And then you'll see below that, you see like d6 appear.
Yeah.
And then in section 2, it says add the finishing touches. And so you can give this a modifier. I can't remember what your code is. It's -1. So you bring the modifier down to -1 by hitting the down arrow in that modifier section.
Oh, I see.
You can give it a name if you want to, but otherwise you can just click on the roll button below that.
Okay. 8.
Okay, cool. So on a 7 to 9, I will tell you how your actions would leave you vulnerable, and you can choose to back down or go through with it. So I think the most obvious thing for me here is that I think Maria is making a lot of hand gestures, right? And trying to be inclusive and expansive. And she's just not going to see this at all. You're like super sneaky. But I think Portia will see you take this. She is sitting in her desk and just quietly looking at you, and like, there's no way you're going to be able to take this. Do you think it's like a pen with a fluffy thing on top, or is it like an expensive fountain pen, or what kind of?
No, it's not fancy. It's like a pen she like probably stole from the dentist.
Okay. Maybe she's had a lot of visits to the dentist, right? And this is like, it's like a lucky charm or something like that for her.
And it's all chewed up by her, and you put the chewed up bit between your teeth as you think.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, I'm sorry. I'm sure Portia will have some questions, or might keep a closer eye on you if she sees you filch this object. So, do you want to back down or go through it?
Well, wait, so what are the consequences to my going through with it?
Portia is going to see you do it, and she's going to,
Oh, I see,
you know, her
She's gonna
suspicions are going to be
remember it.
raised. Yeah.
Okay, and what are the consequences to me backing down at this point?
There's no consequences. You just
Okay.
don't do it. Yeah.
Okay, I think I won't do it quite yet.
Okay. So yeah, I think Portia is looking at you like she doesn't know what's going on between the two of you. Like you didn't do anything, and she's a little bit confused. I think she accepts the party invitation. Oh, Maria, that'd be great. I'd love to get my party clothes on.
Okay, well, thanks. That's very sweet of you, Maria. I'll be there.
Okay.
And Maria is no doubt feels like she's won.
Yeah.
Because she's been trying to get Julia's attention.
And obviously she's going to work on you at the party, right, to get whatever she wants. Okay, cool. Anything else to add or a word to have with Portia before we move on, Julia, or what do you think?
I think that Julia really wants to have a side conversation with Portia outside the classroom about like just to try and assess where Portia is around Maria. Like, what does Portia actually think about Maria? Yeah, Julia's wanting to shore up her allies.
Okay. Do you want to hold on to that for later and do it later when it makes sense?
Yeah, I think maybe we'll have a conversation before we go to the party.
Okay, yeah, cool. So you'll put a pin in that and remember to come back to this. Evan. I guess what are you thinking about all of this? You're obviously not getting an invite. What's up with that?
Yeah, that's bullshit. So Evan was texting Dakota and asking, "Hey, what's up with Maria?" And then Dakota replied, "She's a shark." And Evan says, "Yeah, but what's texting? Yeah, but what's she doing with Jack? Is she putting moves on Jack?" Trying to get in his pants. Okay. Is like, I don't know, it sounds like she's talking to a lot of people. Is she like getting something together? A party. Oh, she's having a party. Can you get me into the party? Hell yeah, he responds. Awesome. We need backup. 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 Okay, I will bring weed. Excellent, thank you. Yeah. So I think that really Evan was just trying to get an in to getting closer to Maria at the bidding of Bria, and now he's got it. He got what he wanted with the help of Dakota.
Yeah. What does Bria's voice sound like when it kind of whispers in your brain?
Unfortunately, it's it's Bria's like sex voice from when they had hooked up in the past on occasions, and it's like very close, that very intimate in your ear sound.
And does she call you Ev or something terrible like that?
God, no, what's worse than that? Strangely enough, she always called him Holwell,
Okay.
his last name. So like always, regardless.
Okay.
Holwell. Jack. I mean,
That was what I was thinking.
Stephen, nice.
I mean, you gotta make those dunks, right?
Mhm.
Hey, Hallwell. You gonna do the business at that party for me?
So Evan looks around, even though, he always knows that no one else can hear her voice. He's still paranoid about it. Does Evan know what business she is referring to specifically? Oh, okay.
No
So,
idea.
yes.
No idea.
What kind of business do you need me
Well,
to do?
I mean, you're gonna get an invite, right?
Well, I don't know if I can get an
Beg,
invite.
borrow, steal, whatever it takes.
I'm gonna show up. I'll be there.
You're gonna show up. You're gonna get thrown out in your ass. Come on, think.
No. Dakota said they can get me in.
Oh, Dakota.
Hey,
That,
people like Dakota.
yeah, people like brown paper bags. They're really useful for storing whatever shit you're bringing home from the grocery store.
So Evan's getting the sense that Brie is not thinking that this is sufficient. Is that correct? She's pushing.
She's pushing. I mean,
Yeah.
Here's what she says. Okay, like how much are you willing to stake on Dakota coming through for you? I mean, really. So what I would advise you is make other arrangements. Look at him. He's making like sappy eyes at Jack. Like his mind is nowhere else.
So I think that at this point, Evan like gets up from his desk and walks over to who's Maria talking to right now?
I guess she has just finished talking to Portia and Julia, so maybe she sat down at her own desk again.
I think that so Evan comes over to her desk and squats down by her desk and puts on what he considers to be a smile and says, hi, I'm Evan. Hey, I understand you're having like a party, like a get together. And I can, I can bring some party supplies if you could use it.
So is Evan at his most charming, trying to turn her on to get
Yeah, I was wondering
what he wants?
Yeah, so I think that what he'll do is, where is it? He's going to use his move that lets him use someone else's use a move from someone else's playbook.
Okay.
Or did you have something in mind?
No, I thought you were going to say give yourself a +2 boost on your roll, but another move might be cool.
He was thinking that he was going to use Unashamed, so which is a Fey move. It gives you can give someone a string on you to add 3 to your attempt to turn them on.
Yeah.
Because like I think he's kind of, I think that Evan thinks in terms of these debts now all the time, giving and using strings. So but yeah, he says he is trying to turn her on. He
So
is
what,
trying to
what
get
does it
what he
look
wants
like
from her.
when Evan is unashamed?
So he has a grin that is actually kind of charming, and he kind of makes it unashamedly, makes eyes, grins, and just tries to be, I think, as charming as he can. In this particular circumstance, it's hard to do anything else in the middle of the classroom.
Okay, so Bria is taking 1 string on you to use that power.
Yep.
And Maria is taking 1 string on you for the unashamed.
Okay. It's
And
good.
so,
That's exactly what I wanted.
yeah. And yeah, so you're rolling with +2 instead of -1 to turn
Hold
them
up.
on.
I'm getting some advice here from
Oh,
Steven.
okay.
So I'm just going to check this out.
You're getting a
Bot
cavalcade of.
This is a move from the queen. Let's see. You can give a side character a string on you to tempt them to do your bidding. The MC will tell you what sort of bribe, threat, or coaxing it'll take to get that character to do what you want right now. I'm a very good reader, as you can tell.
Yeah, so with the turn on, if you get a 10 plus, they're pretty much going to do what you want, right?
Okay.
With the queen move, which is a good suggestion, you're kind of guaranteeing a 7 to 9 result from turn on, which is like there's a price to pay.
Right.
So I guess it's hedging your bets a little bit, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
the thing is that this only works on side characters, and you basically are giving up the opportunity to get a string on them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's kind of a sure thing, right? Instead of playing with the dice.
So yeah, I'm gonna roll though, just because I'm gonna go ahead and use go down the
Yeah,
path
I just thought I'd
started.
bring that in case, just to remember that's there in the future.
Please do. Anytime you see me doing something and you have a suggestion, please make the suggestion. I really appreciate it. So Evan's hot is -1. He gets +1, so he gets +2 overall. Is that accurate?
He gets +3 for the Fey Unashamed move, so he's at +2 total. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So the modifier is +2. And I'm searching for a 10. How about that?
Boxcars.
So let's see. Gain a string on them, and they choose a reaction from below.
No.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah. Ooh. I think I'm going to keep it simple and promise something she thinks she wants, which is an invite to the party.
Yeah.
And like, there's obviously some kind of change, right? So Maria looks at you and you crouch down beside her desk, and it's like, who is this freak? And then it's like, bam, you turn on that.
Yeah, what does
charm.
it look like? What does this ill-gotten charm look like?
Yeah. So I think that I already kind of described as much as I think that Evan can afford to do in the middle of the classroom. So he's trying to be smiling and charming, like he's seen on television and in the movies, and positioning himself so that he looks kind of sexually inviting, I guess. And I guess that's just enhanced then by the dark power that comes through him in using this fame move, right? So his eyes glisten. He looks a little more handsome than he actually is, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a glamour which almost matches Maria's, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I think, maybe it's a game recognizes game thing, maybe. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, and she goes, oh, I mean, yeah, I just didn't know that this like a house party was your kind of thing. I thought you'd be out cruising the highway or something really cool. But yeah, sure, come along, 8 o'clock. And I think everyone else she's so far been relying on. Oh, she'll let people know the address or the time or whatever, but she like tells you these details right now, or she gives you her number or something like that.
Excellent. And I think that Evan says, okay, I'll stand. I'll see you there. And as he stands and he turns away from her, his face just goes back to this like kind of like just kind of like frustrated and slightly angry look, now that he's like no longer trying to make that attempt.
And I think we'll I think you hear like a little giggle in your head from Bria, and she says, "Attaboy, Hallwell. Or maybe I should be jealous. Should I be jealous of that bitch?"
And Evan says, just shut up.
Okay. Now I know we have stuff to come to after the class, but does anyone want to add anything more before Mr. Halvert enters the room? Anything from Julia?
I don't think I had anything myself, but there was a question I wanted to ask: is Evan also in this like the school's only sports team of basketball? Because I mean, it would give an opportunity for us to get like physical and fight with each other and other things as well on the court.
Then definitely, yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool.
Dakota tried out, but he didn't make it.
But it was just that you refused to like sweep the hair out of your eyes so you can never see what was going on.
That's true. That's true.
I just want to add that Julia is really had a lot of sensation when Evan was going through this dialogue with Bria. Like Julia noticed and is wondering what is going on and really wants to find out.
Are you staring into the abyss?
Yeah, this was my very next. So if you want to know something, maybe lean on the supernatural a little bit in a way that isn't exactly tied to your magic. Anyone can gaze into the abyss. So when you gaze into the abyss, name what you're looking for and roll with dark. And you get visions of whatever is going to answer your question. What do you think, Julia?
Can I do this in the middle of the classroom right now?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can tell me what it looks like. Like sometimes it's just you having a vision inside your head, or sometimes it's like you're doodling in the notebook and you kind of draw or write the answer to your question somehow, or however you want to describe it, right? So for sure. I mean, obviously, if you like roll a miss, maybe people are gonna start talking about how weird you are, right? But hey, that's gonna happen no matter what in high school, right?
Yeah. Okay. I think that. Sorry, what? Oh.
I just said that ship has sailed in terms of you being weird.
Ouch.
Yeah, right. My eyes almost got really red earlier. Yeah, and I think Julia puts her head down on her desk and starts meditatively twirling her hair. And as she's doing that, she's gazing into the abyss. And what she wants to know is, what's up with Evan? Why is Evan acting so weird? Why did I see Evan get so brooding and angry and then charming? Like, what is going on?
Okay, cool. So you're going to roll 2d6 plus your dark, which I think is +2. The die room should have kept your 2 dice from before, and you just need to change the modifier in your rolls.
Got it. Okay, 13.
Bam. Okay. So I think this is so the description on this is you get like clear lucid visions, and you take +1 forward, which means you get like a +1 bonus on your next roll about this thing. So I think when you kind of reach out your consciousness to kind of like imagine what's going on with Evan, you kind of see the classroom, and I think maybe in Bria's old seat, she's sitting there, and there's like but like her throat got ripped out by Jack, right, at the old barn. So I think she's sitting there, maybe like on the desk with her feet on the chair, and you can kind of see the rip marks on her throat. And she is talking
like American Werewolf in London.
Yeah. And she is like talking at Evan. And I think you kind of see that moment where he like says, "Shut up," right, at her. And you kind of hear that as well. Like he definitely said that, and he is talking to her. And what gives you an idea? I mean, I think it's obvious to Julia that like she is inside his head, or she is like that only he can see her. But I think, there's maybe a sign that like she is getting him to do stuff, right? So maybe she says something like, "Just get it done, Evan, or else she'll be cut off."
Whoa. Yeah, Julia is a little taken aback, honestly, a little stunned to see that Bria is not, in fact, out of the picture.
And I think maybe like when you raise your head from the desk, you have like I guess you have your eyes closed, and maybe when you open it, the lights are shining, but there's like a hint of an after image of Bria sitting on her desk like that. That you kind of blink to get rid of, just like a normal kind of after image that you might see.
Oh, yeah. Okay, thanks, Abyss.
Okay, awesome. So, I think Mr. Halvert comes in, and people kind of scurry to their desks if they weren't already there. And he's talking about something like the Treaty of Paris, one of the treaties of Paris at least. Something pretty dry and something pretty unexciting for your average high school student, I imagine. So I think we should fast forward to after class. I guess we said this was the last class of the day, so maybe heading home or on the steps of the school. I guess let's get an idea of what people want to do first before we jump into the scenes. I guess we know Julia wants to talk to Portia, but maybe that's like before the party instead of just after school. Yeah, anything different you want to do?
How long are these sessions meant to run?
Oh, I have it down for 3.5 hours. But if people,
3.5. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So,
I'd missed that. I'm fine.
Okay. Are we all good to keep going for a while? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So yeah, let's go around the table and get a sense of what people want to do immediately after school.
I would like to brood in a very sexy way somewhere.
I mean, I'd like to get into it in the middle of a basketball practice with Evan, and I imagine Dakota is probably sitting in the bleachers brooding.
That sounds perfect. Is brooding how Dakota turns people on or gazes into the abyss, or is this just the general image?
I mean, it's like the Swiss Army knife of
It is the Swiss Army knife of the mortal is to brood.
Yeah.
But depending on how things go, we'll see if he attempts to turn someone on or to gaze into the abyss. Either of those. I think it's more wanting to get some attention now. So maybe it'll be more of a turn on.
Okay. So let's go to Julia first. What's she getting up to after school?
Yeah, so I would like to just pull Portia aside and have a little chat about the party and Maria.
Okay.
Should I do that now?
Yeah, let's do that now.
Okay. Portia, come over here for a second. You really going to go to that party? Is that tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think tomorrow night, right? But we can play with the time. I was gonna go, yeah. Should I not?
I don't know. I'm just curious, like what you think about Maria. What do you think her motives are? Do you trust her?
Sorry. Sorry, let me take 5. I just need to get a drink.
Yeah.
What's our school mascot, do you think?
A beaver, maybe, because it's the Northwest, right?
I mean, I think we're in Northern California, so it's kind of that peripheral place where it's like kind of Northwest, but kind of not. But yeah, fair. Like once you get out of the Bay Area, it's basically the Northwest.
Maybe a cute little otter might be good.
Okay, yeah, otter works. Okay. We were just discussing what our school's mascot is, and I think we landed on otter.
Otters, I mean, they're cute, right? So that's the most important thing. Sorry about that. So yeah, Portia, yeah, I think she seems nice. I mean, she's having a party. It's just a chance for me to go to a party, which I haven't been doing in ages. So I think I was gonna jump on it. Why?
Okay.
What are you?
I don't know. I just have a funny feeling about her, and I just want to make sure you're okay, and I don't know. I just want to make sure you're okay and that nothing bad happens to anyone. So
you're going, right?
If you're going, I'm going.
Okay. Well, you can be on my wing and all, right?
All right. We'll go together.
I mean, like, queen bees have got to be dealt with, right? You know. And I guess I prefer to be a little bit friendly with her, but yeah, I'm not going to do anything silly.
Okay. I just want to be careful. That's all. No big deal.
Sure. And
nothing to worry about.
If you want to leave early, I'll leave with you. I'll back you up.
Great. Thanks. Appreciate that. See you later.
Okay. Catch you later. Okay, so we head to the basketball court.
Yep, where we are throwing and dribbling balls. Sports description here.
So who's the coach? Is it the school psychologist doubling up, or is there Mr. Coach?
I mean, that would be wonderful, because then like she'll probably have like comments on like Evan's like playing style afterwards, like how that speaks to you know, deep-seated issues he might be dealing with.
Yeah, is that okay with you, Mark, to have the your psychologist as your coach?
Yeah, I changed it up. It's Jason Steiner is now the coach as well as psychologist.
Okay. I guess in small town America, if you have a sports psychology degree, you've got to make it work at both ends, right? Okay, cool. So
I mean, in a small town, who the people who are coaches are just like the teacher that was willing to volunteer the time.
the teacher who is not there that day when the rota was done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And Dakota has a tendency to show up at practice and kind of hang out and do his homework on the bleachers. But this time he's just not doing any homework. He's just kind of brooding, draped across the bleachers in a sultry way. He's not going to say anything to Jack, but he's a presence.
So how does Jack, deal with this presence on the bleachers? Take it out on Evan or some other?
I don't think that like Jack is that upset about the presence of Dakota on the bleachers. Like I think that this is something Dakota's done before, I assume. I think though that definitely like Evan probably picks up that like I go out of my way, like even when you're not in my zone, to check you and like block you and stuff like that. And I'm definitely pushing right now to start with like kind of the edges of like definitely coming close to like violating like no contact and stuff.
So yeah, I think that Evan goes along with it, and he will attempt to give as good as he can against someone who's obviously physically superior to them because they're werewolf, and just hold in as best that he can. If he is distracted, if he finds that Jack is distracted at some point by Dakota, he will definitely bounce the ball off of the back of Jack's head.
Oh yeah, I think that happens, and I think that Jack accidentally like falls into you, quote unquote.
So, I mean, we've seen how that's worked before. Is this a lash out physically?
Yeah.
From Jack at Evan?
Yes, it is exactly that.
So, elbows accidentally ending up in your face or wherever.
Yeah.
Or wherever. I like that part. That's
wherever, covers a lot of ground. So I guess this is plus volatile, right? On the dice.
Yeah. That's a 10.
That'll do, right?
Yeah, so let me just remind myself on a 10 plus, I just do it, and I deal them harm and they choke up momentarily before they can react. So yeah, maybe I do like elbow you in like the nose, and it's like maybe not a break, but it definitely bursts a capillary, and like there's just blood coming down your face.
So it's so you deal them harm. I think that sounds like one harm to me, albeit
Yeah.
kind of very visual. So mark one harm, and the description here is they choke up momentarily before they can react.
Yeah.
So were you in the middle of saying something to Jack when you got that elbow in the nose, and that just kind of cut you off, and you never returned to that stinging retort?
If I could think of something clever, yes. But I don't think that I can.
I think that like I like hold my hand down when you fall down to help you up, and I say you might want to get that looked at. Good hole. Sorry, hole well.
So yeah, Evan is like he's pinching his nose with the one hand as he stands up, and he just glares quietly at Jack as Jack walks away triumphant.
And I think the Coach Steiner is doesn't quite catch the exchange, and says something like, "Evan, keep your eyes on the ball. You know, things are gonna move fast out on here in the court. Keep your wits about you." Jack, make another layup while Evan is taking 5.
And Dakota's watching all of this, and maybe Homer's there working on his homework as well, because sometimes they get together to do homework. And Homer says, "Wow, that was brutal, Jack." And Dakota says, "No, it wasn't. Evan just got in the way, man."
So I think Homer he's a nerd, right? But maybe he's also a wrestling nerd. He goes, "No, that was top drawer. Oh man. Like if the coach hadn't been around, there would have been a follow-up on the ground. It would have been suplex-tastic."
Well, the coach didn't agree with that. He thought it was Evan's fault.
Coach Steiner, he never sees anything wrong with his star players.
Jack's just been under a lot of stress recently, man. So you got to cut him some slack.
Oh, it's okay to be violent if you're under stress.
Violence a very strong word, Homer. This is a contact sport. It's things happen.
It's basketball. It's definitely not a contact sport. So I mean, it sounds to me like you're making excuses for some blatant problem with Jack's violent tendencies, right?
That might be the case.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I guess Homer can't really argue with you for too long about this because like it doesn't really bother him. So take that XP, I think. Does Evan have to sit at the bleachers, or does he kind of go home? What do you think?
I think he'll sit on the bleachers. He's like half-heartedly plotting revenge, but he's got too much going on to really kind of like get behind it. So he just tries to get the nose to stop bleeding.
So I think like in your head, Bria is like sighing, like, and then like there's like a little urge in you like to like taste the blood properly, but like she doesn't say it. She just like kind of lets that thought drift into your mind.
I think that yeah, I think Evan would like kind of surreptitiously do that. He's just gonna like pull his finger down and taste it.
Excellent. So, Julia, you're on your way home, or is there something else you want to get up to before we draw the session to a close?
I'm on my way home, but in order to get home, I have had to walk past these bleachers because my home is in the woods on the other side of the sports situation. And so I think that I'm seeing Evan on the bleachers, and I've had this gaze into the abyss where I saw something that was going on, and so um, I'm still hungry for more information, although I am a little bit scared. Also, like what is going on? Because Bria is no joke, and I know that. And so I'm going to stop and have a little chat with Evan. Now that I see that Evan is actually bleeding in his face, I'm like, what the hell? So, hi, Evan. What's going on?
Jack Hole hit me in the nose.
Did you deserve it?
The fuck?
Well, you never know what's going on, but I just wanted to check and see, how are you doing? Are you doing okay? Looks like you had some trouble back in the classroom. Were you all right? You feeling sick? Anything going on?
I think that Evan is being is giving Julia a look like, why are you suddenly engaging with me? Because things did not end well for them, I think, in the text conversation that they had a few weeks ago. And he says, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm fine.
Okay, are you sure? Because Bria might have had something else to say about that.
Okay. So I think that I think Evan's not going to say anything. I think that he's just going to get up and walk away, walk toward the locker room.
I mean, is this kind of sudden reference to Bria unnerving Evan?
Yes.
Or
Mm-hmm.
okay, so do you think you need to keep your cool,
I was wondering about that.
Or if you're like getting out of there, you might be just running away.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. So I mean, I think that I think I'm more likely running away, because if I was staying, I would be keeping my cool.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So yeah.
Roll so run away volatile. Plus volatile. Yeah. You're good at this, or you should be good at this.
No pressure, though.
No pressure. Just.
Okay.
There you go.
12. So on a 10, you get away to a safe place. The boys' locker room. What's safer than the boys' locker room? But I get in there, and I'm gonna just jump in the shower.
Well, I mean, it's like you get away to a safe place, so it's not like we lean into any different tropes about locker rooms or whatever. So
right.
Like you're actually safe.
Yes.
What I mean, what's that like between the bleachers and the locker rooms? Like, what's going through your head? Like what are you suspecting is Julia meant? Are you like trying to figure out what she might have meant, what she might have known?
Definitely trying to figure out what she knows, because I think that Evan thinks automatically she knows that she knows all about Bria, not just that Bria is not Bria, but that Bria was somebody else when she was Bria, and that she is not interested in Evan's best interests. She's certainly not looking out for him. She wants something in a
She's not
big way.
mending fences. She's digging.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
So is this something that Evan might gaze into the abyss to figure out?
Yeah. Hell yeah, he would.
And what does that look like for him?
I think that Evan gets this kind of blank. Yeah, that's good. Evan gets this blank look, and his eyes kind of go unfocused. He stares off into the distance, and his mouth opens a little bit in that kind of like dumb guy face thing. And he just stares and thinks like that for a little bit. And he's trying to like keep Bria out of his head at the same time, because he doesn't want Bria to affect what he's thinking in this regard. And yeah, I think that on this particular occasion, that's what he does.
So the question is like, what does Julia know, or like what's her deal?
Yeah, maybe it's what does Julia want? Is that reasonable to ask?
And any question is reasonable, right?
Okay. So yeah, I think what does Julia want from me? So I can roll plus dark. 9?
9. Okay. So on a 7 to 9 in gazing to the abyss shows you confusing and alarming visions, but you get your answer nonetheless. So Julia, we'll let you answer this question. So yeah, Evan will learn what you really want, but give him some confusing or alarming aspects of this vision, something that might frighten or dismay him. Or you're muted, Max.
Thank you. I knew back when Alice went missing that there was something between Evan and Bria, and Evan denied it then. And so when I saw Bria in my own vision talking to Evan, I felt that my suspicions had been somehow confirmed, but I also sensed the power dynamic between them, and I really want Bria, is what I want. I want to get at Bria. And so I think that, and I always felt that Evan was out to hurt Alice, right? Even though Evan supposedly just had a crush on Alice, I felt that Evan was actually going to cause harm to Alice at some point, and that this cabal of Evan and CJ and Bria were somehow part of this whole thing. And I also know they were getting information from Alice about my places in the woods. So I'm just trying to protect myself, honestly. And so I just need to know all the business that's going on so I can try to figure out how to best protect myself. And so I think that the confusing visions that I'm giving you, Evan, are actually about Alice, and Alice being dead and coming back to life, and being somehow like reckless energy coming after you, and it's terrifying, right? Oh, Alice, come back to life, and also coming after you, in addition to Bria having you, right? So, and Alice too now is maybe part of that picture, and that's confusing. And But you also see in your vision that I am in my places in the woods trying to protect myself.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
So I think that's a great place to stop. I think I'll stop recording and then we'll do some stars and wishes for next week.